Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last episode of the year of Guy Panic Podcast. Whoopee! Yay! Anyways, yeah. So this episode, I got a couple things to talk about. Mainly, a really bit of funny current, like right now, Twitter drama involving two very important boys. Just a couple news items, not really big things, and then we're going to talk about the year in review, 2024, and then talk about my weird YouTube presence the past several months, right? And talk about how crazy it's been that I even have an audience to begin with, which is insane. All right, so the Twitter drama. Okay. So you know Doge, not the epic meme, not the stupid cryptocurrency that is not worth anything meaningful. I mean the organization that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are going to make and work alongside President or soon to be President-elect Donald Trump when he takes office. That supposedly by 2026 will have a super epic plan to fully optimize the U.S. federal government. So you know, they're both of those guys are very active on Twitter, and Elon owns Twitter. He's Twitter man now, which is why everyone hates the website. We still use the website because, let's face it, Blue Sky is like a kid's playground, except there's also armed guards walking around being like, hey, if you're too mean, we will shoot you, okay? And no one's mean enough, okay? I like being mean. It's fun. It gives me life. There's no point in not being mean in life. Come on, okay? My mind's already broken. I might as well go to where the other broken-minded people are and laugh a bunch, okay? And this shit has made me laugh a bunch today. Okay, as far as I'm aware, on Christmas Day, Elon has a post by one Mario Newtnoffel, whoever the hell it is. Stupid insert anything Twitter tech guy who has the blue check mark and is all of a sudden really important. I don't give a shit with these guys. These guys are all literally the exact same person, okay? Anyways, he's saying Silicon Valley's biggest limitation, engineering talent shortage. The U.S. semiconductor industry alone needs over 160,000 engineers by 2032, driven by the $250 billion in new investments. Demand for AI experts has skyrocketed, with Elon calling the talent war the craziest ever. And then Elon replied to this by saying, no, we need... Oh, wait, what if I try an Elon voice? What does he sound like? He sounds like an actual waterhead idiot. He's like, no, we need like double that number yesterday. I'm not going to do a whole voice, okay? Elon says, no, we need more like double that number yesterday. The number of people who are super talented engineers and super motivated in the USA is far too low. Think of this like a pro sports team. If you want your team to win the championship, you need to recruit top talent wherever they may be. That enables the whole team to win. Right? So what Elon's saying here is actually we need to really let people in the country who aren't fat, stupid Americans. Because people in other countries will move to the United States using their more easily attained degrees, because in the United States, we can't actually make higher education that available to people, because then it's not worth enough and we don't make money off of it. Whatever. He wants them here because A, they will get paid less. B, they will do longer hours because they have a much more dedicated work ethic, right? Because they're here in America to work, as opposed to American who's gonna be here regardless and could work like it's an exploitation office thing, right? He's a CEO. He doesn't work. He doesn't know what that means, but he understands that when he hires he understands that when he hires people from India or China or Japan, maybe not Japan, they will work a lot longer than Darren from Chicago, right? Anyways, Elon said this, and then he was replied to by one of the 20, 25, 30 million actual neo-Nazi meme accounts that are really big on Twitter. And Twitter, okay, if you comment, if you reply to a single thing on any generic blue checkmark MF on Twitter, you will get these guys' stuff in your feed unless you start blocking all of them, and it will be like this stupid racist garbage nonstop. And this one is a rather notorious one named I Am Yes You Are No, who spends all day complaining about white genocide. He replies to Elon's statement there. There are over 330 million people in America. Of course, he says that number, but he also would argue that 20 million of them should leave right now. But, you know, he's a racist. So surely there must be enough among them to build your ultimate team. Why would you deny real Americans that opportunity by bringing foreigners here? Which is stupid. Again, these are the same guys who like are angry about the 1965 Immigration Act and like or 63, who are just like who literally blame their like stupid, fat, sexless lives on a brown guy living near them. Like they're stupid. Elon replies, "Your understanding of the situation is upside down and backwards." I don't know what the that is both. Whatever. Of course, my companies and I would prefer to hire Americans, and we do, as that is much easier than going through the incredibly painful and slow work visa process. However, there is a dire shortage of extremely talented and motivated engineers in America. This is not about handing out opportunities from some magical hat. You don't get it. This is blindingly obvious when looking at NBA teams, as the physical differences are so obvious to see. However, the mental differences between humans are far bigger than the physical differences. So what he's also saying here is that like we should make companies and employment in America like an NBA team or like a European soccer team, and we just hire people who don't live here and just and if they're just really talented or smart or whatever. Anyways, another like stupid alt-right person replies to Elon, "Open the school. We have brains." And then Elon replies to that, "If you need a school, you've lost already." And that's when people started getting very angry, because what Elon doesn't understand is that he has spent like the last year and longer than that complaining about like immigrants, DEI, woke, literally complaining about DEI every day of his life. And right now he's on this thread saying, actually, we should hire immigrants because they're the best people for the job. And he doesn't understand that the entire time he was spewing like anti-DEI, woke, whatever the hell, right, to this base of people that he wanted to vote for Trump so that way Elon can control Trump or influence him to get his own, you know, companies and stuff, you know, usually just less regulations and such. That they actually believed the nonsense he was saying or believed it on face value, right? He probably, I don't think, okay, Elon's stupid. He's not like dumb though. He's just stupid. It's a very fine difference, right? Like he understands that he has to say this stuff to get like the actual hoople heads in the voting booths, right? And out to go, you know, do sectarian violence if need be. That's what he has to do. But he understands in his brain that like he doesn't actually believe that crap, especially being an extremely powerful and influential businessman, right? Because businesses don't operate off of like weird, stupid emotional appeals, right? Elon might, but he understands that a big business that he is part of and owns won't, for the most part. Even if he doesn't like hiring foreigners, his company will, because that's how companies operate. They'll get someone on a visa who will do the job, will move where they want them to, has the right qualifications, and will accept the pay they offer. Boom, right? And he doesn't care because it makes him money. And that's how, like, that's literally the profit. The profit margin is all Elon, like, probably really cares about when it comes to politics. But the people he has endeared himself to do not believe that whatsoever, right? Another funny thing is that when he says, if you need a school, you've lost already, that is his like weird, like Ubermensch brain shit spewing out of his mouth, right? Because he thinks that like you don't need degrees to be considered like a mega genius, right? He thinks that he thinks that a person is just innately a software engineer, right? Just innately, you're born with it. Okay, which is stupid because it's not the case. And he doesn't like the idea of like academic accreditation, right? Because that's when because he doesn't like academia, not only because he doesn't understand most of it, because by the way, Elon only has 2 bachelor's degrees in arts and science. So yeah, he's not like a doctor, or even like he doesn't have any expertise in anything, actually. He's like academia, because in academia you are constantly criticized or told to compare things or told to understand things in different viewpoints, right? You are not just sitting there just spewing your garbage like Elon does all day and then only accepting the praise you see and making a big hug box. Okay, that's not the case. That's not how, I mean, that's literally, it's how like a CEO operates. I mean, not CEO, but like the owner. You know, if someone doesn't, if someone doesn't agree with your vision, you can just fire them. And that's probably what Elon does all the time, right? So he wouldn't like the community where people can like actually dig their heels in and say no or argue, right? He wouldn't like that. Anyways, he started going off on that, but then his boy Vivek Ramaswamy got in on this fight with probably one of the funniest posts I have seen in a long time, and I'm archiving that because Elon's been deleting some stuff as of late because he understands that he is having a meltdown and is not looking good to his weird alt-right fan base he's grown over the past year, right? Elon's losing his griper cred, and Vivek's gonna lose his griper cred as well. Let's read this, okay? So from Vivek. The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over, quote, native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. So, the first thing, we're going to go over paragraph by paragraph, by the way. This is all gold. This guy's going to have direct access to the president, working with Elon, and just deciding which parts of the Department of Education are just going to throw out the window, right? Like, he's bad. Anyways, first off, IQ is not real. IQ is stupid. You should never listen to anyone who talks about IQ with any sort of like serious anything, right? I don't care about IQ. I don't care about Mensa or NAMBLA or whatever the hell they are. The people that Eric Andre went to visit twice with that suit of armor. If you haven't seen the first Eric Andre season, there's a fantastic bit involving the like high IQ organization. It's perfect. Anyways, right? IQ is stupid because IQ doesn't actually accurately measure like your innate intelligence. Intelligence itself is hard to quantify, but like there are people with high IQs who are not as smart as people who haven't taken an IQ test or would normally fail one because they don't have the exact same educational background, right? There are probably people in like the second and third world who have way higher IQs than the guy with a high IQ score in the United States because they don't take IQ tests, and if they did, they didn't go through the American or the European public school systems and academic systems where they are, essentially trained on the things that would apply to an IQ test, right? It's not a smart way of deciding anything, right? They're kind of racist. They're kind of bullshit. They don't like actually account anything towards like critical thinking skills, really. It's just a garbage test. No one cares about that statistic. Of course, Vivek here is mentioning it because he is so griped up right now that he has to talk about IQs because his entire fan base is probably talking about the bell curve on their Discord servers right now and about how everyone who's not white or Asian has lower ones. Anyways, now he also said it comes down to culture and there's tough questions. So before even reading most of this, because I like skimmed this, I didn't look at this super hard. I saw a couple funny bits and talked about it, but I didn't like read it. What I can imagine he's saying right now is he's saying that Americans are too fat and lazy to do anything, which is the case, by the way. By the way, Elon constantly like will talk about other countries with horrible working standards and like sweatshop factory conditions and compliment them. Like he loves China. He might be all anti-China right now because he's, part of the American government now or some shit. But like he loves China's way of like enforcing like workers into compliance in their factories. He hates Americans. Elon doesn't like Americans. He's not really an American. He speaks English, but he's not really an American because he doesn't like us, right? He hates all of us. He thinks we're all like gross pig people who oink for him, right? You can just tell that he's some snobbish, Boer, inbred Afrikaner dipshit, right? He doesn't like us. Probably the same for Vivek, by the way. Remember when Vivek was like trying to get into Republican primaries and failing horribly, and he would talk about like his religion? Because you're a Republican primary, you have to talk about your religion. You have to deal with the evangelical base. The conservatives kind of shot themselves in the foot by making that an important aspect of GOP politics in the 80s. But you have to talk about your religion. And Vivek is a Hindu, right? Is a Hindu. And he can't talk about that in front of a bunch of white people from Iowa, right? You kidding me? No. So he has to talk in very vague terms that you can very easily, if you're a stupid American Protestant, assume means Christianity, right? It's perfect. Anyways, back to Vivek's post. Okay, the truth. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s, and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. It starts young. He's going to talk about how kids not being raised a certain way is why we aren't smart and effective and happy-go-lucky, I'll do anything you say, boss workers. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ, or the jock over the valedictorian, will not produce the best engineers. This is the biggest nerd shit I have read in a long time, coming from a man who will have a direct line to the president. What? The prom queen over the math Olympiad? What is this? Is this Ridgemont High? What are you talking about? How much TV have you seen, you idiot? And don't worry, I think he mentions other TV shows soon. But like, yeah, it is. American high school is just like Back to the Future, basically. It's like everyone's Marty McFly, and they're getting bullied by these jocks, by Butch. No, what? By the way, here's the thing: jocks right now, jocks. I mean, okay, I can't tell right now. I was in high school in the 2010s, but jocks right now are nerds. They are huge nerds. Ask a jock about like Star Wars or Jujutsu Kaisen, right? They're all nerds. Okay? They're the biggest stupid nerds. Alright? Maybe if you live in like some hick town without internet connection, then you'll find jocks who spend most of their time just learning valuable domestic abuse techniques from their father. But most like urban jocks are just giant nerds. And the academics, like valedictorian, are like cool kids, I guess, if you want to call that even a thing anymore. Like they spend, like, these are the kids who also play lacrosse and smoke weed and like don't give a shit about the teachers in the class but still get good grades. Like, what are you talking about? No, this is literally, what the hell? I know Vivek is like pushing 40 or something, but like, I don't think American high school has been like this since the 80s. Insane nonsense, just from a TV show. Continuing. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zack and Slater over Screech in Saved by the Bell, or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters, will not produce the best engineers. What are you talking about? First off, an engineer is someone usually with a bachelor's in engineering, which, while I'm not saying it's hard, I'm not saying it's easy to get that. It's not. It's not hard. It's not like impossible for a person of average intelligence to get that degree. Okay? The big, what Vivek and Elon will not mention at all because it would hurt their, profit margins in philosophy, is the idea that like actually people can become like an engineer much way more often. We will have more engineers being trained in the US if we just made the actual education for engineering, schools publicly available. Remember when someone said build a school, and Elon said, if you're using a school, you're already lost. People are trained to do jobs. No MF, okay? Nobody is 18 and is instantly now like, I'm actually a super engineer. That is not the case. And if they are, there's some like autistic savant. No, you have to go to a school, you have to be taught, you have to be challenged, and then you have to explain yourself and explain how you showcase the actual, skill set required of an engineer, right? To get that degree. Whatever the hell they're saying here does not produce engineers. You don't get to be an engineer because you're Steve Urkel from Family Matters, okay? Dude, Vivek would get like bullied so hard if he was Steve Urkel, dude. Go home, Vivek. Yeah, no, no. I mean, I haven't seen Boy Meets World or Saved by the Bell because I'm not that old, okay? I'm not some Gen X or millennial. I don't know those stupid TV shows, so I can't comment on those. And all my knowledge from Family Matters comes from Comtown making fun of it. So I don't really know much about any of these shows, to be frank. But I know that they're like stupid sitcoms that are not in any way, shape, or form applicable to today at all. This is in parentheses, fact. I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity. And their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. What? Vivek, it's probably because when they came to the United States, when your parents from the warrior class or the priest class in India came to the United States, they didn't watch TV because they thought that was some like lower caste thing or something. Like, what are you talking about? Those are just conservative families, and they also produce dumbasses. All right, they're probably just rich. The biggest barrier to your kid being an engineer is not how you raise them; it's how much money you have, and if you can send your kid to school, or if your kid's willing to bite the economic bullet and get a loan to go to school. Nothing else. And this next paragraph here is raw gold. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chillin', more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. Okay, I know some of those things were in parentheses, so it doesn't mean literally that, but this entire paragraph here is insane. Okay, more movies like Whiplash. Vivek is stupid. He is a stupid fascist because a very key characteristic of fascism is their longing for what they view as like cool aesthetics, right? They want to be perceived as cool. Why? Because that's the only way their ideas can convey any sort of appeal to a mass audience. Because their ideas on their own are all like gross and disgusting, right? Like if you think about it, if you have like any sort of moral values, you wouldn't like what they think, okay? So they have to cover it. They have to find something that makes them look interesting. Why do you think so many like legit open fascists love like 2016 vaporwave aesthetics, at least back when that was a popular thing, right? Or they love like modern day like TikTok funk epic Trump edits, right? Why do you think they love like the most uncritical interpretations of very, very obvious pieces of satire and criticism of like fascist governments like Starship Troopers or Helldivers 2 or Warhammer 40k, right? It's just because they saw something that looked cool, decided nuance is for gay losers, and then just decide to just consume it and perpetuate their like horrible, stupid, uninteresting, undeveloped caricature of it because they think that'll make them look really cool, right? The same applies here. Vivek watched the movie Whiplash. If you don't know Whiplash, it's a fantastic movie. It's honestly God one of the best movies I've ever seen. Okay. and he saw the part where J.K. Simmons was the bald angry man who was endlessly screaming and yelling at his big jazz band for screwing up, right? For not being literally perfect 24/7, right? Because that's how he ran. Which minor criticism of the movie, which is fine because it's a good movie. That's not how jazz works. As it turns out, jazz is not about being extremely precise and perfect and not having anything called improvisation, right? And if that guy was real, he would not exist in any school band production at all. He would get fired like day two. But the movies heightens it up because the main character Neiman from all the memes, mog 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 slap, mog 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 slap, um, the main character Neiman, right? He wants to be a successful drummer. He has idols, right? He upgrades himself from his like shitty associate, jazz band recital class to an actual production one. He sees the angry J.K. Simmons. I want perfection. If you don't stack up immediately, get the hell out of my class. I'm gonna yell at you and scream abuse at you and throw things in the classroom, right? And be a big baby. He saw that and he said, and he thinks that like this is what's required, right? He has an authority figure. He looks up to him. In reality, that authority figure that he looks up to is actually this like disgusting, stupid, abrasive, selfish, narcissistic dipshit who no one would ever actually tolerate in real life. And then the movie is about how he just devolves deeper into this like weird relationship with this teacher and how Neiman is endlessly striving to be perfect and in the process alienates himself from everyone around him, right? And spoiler, it's an old movie, 10 years old, so I don't care, loses. He loses in the movie. The movie has a bad ending. And it's great. It's a perfect bad ending for the main character, right? Wonderful film. Vivek saw all that and he thought, J.K. Simmons is epic. He screams at guys epically, like a drill sergeant. He's so cool. He makes the guy to drum better. That's how everything works. I don't know if Vivek is like a victim of like rich immigrant parent child abuse, exacting standards, demanding tiger mom practices. He might be. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I'm not a son of an immigrant here. But like, that's not. I don't. How do you interpret that from the movie? There are several times where the movie pretty much basically explains that everything Neiman's doing in the movie is wrong, and he shouldn't do it. Besides that, which is insane, there are fewer reruns of Friends. What the hell does Friends promote? Friends is a comedic, nice sitcom about people in New York who shouldn't be able to afford the apartment they have, hanging out and going on hijinks and having relationships, things people actually care about in life, not working. More math tutoring. I mean, math tutoring's a thing you do if your kid has problems in school with math. It's not, you don't need to have your kids study when they're off school, man. Come on, really? You should tell them to study for like a big test if they know it's coming up, but you shouldn't be like, oh, it's summer. You're gonna go to the cram school like it's a Japanese anime or something. Fewer sleepovers. What? Hey, kids, stop having fun. Yeah, he was definitely abused as a child. You can just tell from this. More weekend science competitions. What the hell does that even mean? What is that? What? No. The weekend is a break for kids. We give kids the weekend because we know that when they're adults, they might not have weekends, right? They go there to develop a personality. Everything Vivek is saying here is limiting their ability to be social, right? Which is a very important thing when you're growing up, is to develop a social personality, is to develop your social skills. Because when you're an adult, those are going to be very important because you have way less time to be social and a lot more time dealing with conflicts in like workplaces and relationships and such. More weekend science competitions, whatever the hell that means. Fewer Saturday morning cartoons. What? No. I love those. I mean, right now kids don't have Saturday morning cartoons. They have Saturday morning TikTok, brain rot, doom scrolls, but what? No more kids entertainment. They should have no culture in their lives. By the way, I think, honest to God, children's television is kind of important, right? When I was a kid, I loved talking about kids' television to other kids, right? That was literally us. It literally, okay, the people on Twitter right now and on YouTube talking about movies all day, that's because they grew up talking about movies and TV shows as a kid in elementary school, middle school, and high school, right? That's why they have those. And you know what that is? That's a social skill they're developing. They are developing a social skill when they go to school and talk about, Star Wars, the Clone Wars or something, right? Like a cool show like that, a cool cartoon. Jesus. Um, More books, less TV. I think kids should maybe be encouraged to read more, but at the same time, I think we should maybe encourage, um, I don't know, better reading lists or more flexible reading lists, or the ability to let kids, I could, okay, I think the biggest problem with like mandatory reading in school is that you just don't want to read the books you're given. You'll do it, or you'll pretend to do it. You'll go on like some website that summarizes the book, or I guess now you just go on Chat GPT. I don't even know how the hell. I feel so bad for modern day teachers. Are you kidding me, man? Jesus Christ, I would hate being a teacher right now and having all these kids come up here. And then there's like 73 spelling mistakes in the first paragraph, but it's really important, by the way. This is totally me. Actually, if anything, spelling mistakes proves that it's them, because ChatGPT doesn't make spelling mistakes. They just make like horrible, and nonsensical statements that don't really mean anything, but whatever. Or just repetitions. Um, yeah. More creating, less chillin'. How do you? Okay, I have a earnest question for Vivek here. About this is still us talking about Vivek Ramaswamy, the guy who's gonna be right next to the president, telling him what to do. Maybe not as much as Elon will, but he'll be working with Elon. He'll have some influence over the president of the United States right now, even though he failed horribly the primary. Yeah, more creating, less chilling. I think some of the most creative people on this planet grew their creative, abilities out because they didn't have anything else to do, right? In fact, that's kind of how art as an experiment. It's kind of how like art as a profession became not okay. It's kind of like how people become like artists is because they want to like do something with their time. It's called a hobby, and you can go professional with your hobby. How many musicians right now, musical artists, musicians, would not exist if they didn't have nothing else to do all day except, maybe come up with cool rap lyrics, maybe come up with cool dances, or come up with cool, guitar riffs or bass lines, right? Like, what are you talking about, Vivek? Really? More extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. I know this is in quotations, the hanging out at the mall part, but like hanging out at the mall, like that's not a thing anymore. Malls are dead. Most kids hang out in like, I don't know, Fortnite or Roblox servers. Like I don't know what they do. I'm not a kid. I don't know any children. I don't know what the hell they do. All I see is like videos where people like make fun of kids on Fortnite, like that donkey video where he's playing Fortnite and everyone in the server with him playing Among Us. Fortnite Among Us is like 6 years old and screaming. That's so goddamn funny. But like, honest to God, we should have more hang at the mall. From what I've said, kids need to talk to other kids in person. They need a third place besides school, which is essentially their work and is very stratified and stressful. And home, where they can just be themselves and develop themselves, personality wise, individual wise. So actually, yeah, we should have more hang out at the mall and less extracurriculars, dude. Ugh, that was one paragraph, by the way. That whole, from Whiplash to that one paragraph. That's how beautiful this man writes garbage. Next paragraph. Most normal American parents look skeptically at, quote, those kinds of parents. More normal American kids view such, quote, those kinds of kids with scorn. If you grow up aspiring to normalcy, normalcy is what you will achieve. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? No, normalcy is not. What do you mean normal? Right? Normal is when you don't get like abused into being just endlessly tortured, endlessly harassed, little perfect child like you, Vivek, if you even were that. Normalcy is like when your parents let you have fun because they love you. Is that bad? Is that bad? Is having a nice life with people you love and enjoying activities with friends and family, is that bad? It sounds like he thinks that's bad, which explains how much of a goddamn lizard person CEO he is. Um, Next paragraph. Now, close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s or even now. He is talking straight to like Gen X, by the way, which is insane. Or maybe some millennials, like late millennials, who raised their kids according to one model versus the other. Be brutally honest. I didn't know kids who were constantly harassed by their parents because those kids probably didn't speak much or were afraid or were the type to flinch whenever anyone spoke to them, because whatever Vivek is authorizing is what we like to call child abuse, because you're not letting it means you're emotionally harassing your children for not being perfect little academic mega minds, okay? If they want to be, you should encourage that if that's what they want to be. But if you're like Vivek here and you're saying I don't care if you want to watch cartoons, you gotta go do 70 science fair experiments right now, bucko. You gotta go build 17 baking soda volcanoes right now. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent. And if we pretend like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China. You know what's really interesting, Vivek? It's really cool. America has probably gotten to where it was not because of tech market stuff, right? It got where it was mainly through things like industry, and then after that, finance work, and then after that, tech stuff. Okay. Also, you can tell in this paragraph here that what Vivek is really saying, he's not saying we have to beat China. He's saying we have to be like China. We have to have suicide nets on our factories. We have to have people taking rigorous exams that their parents will beat them if they don't, do well on, right? We have to have societies where people will literally get angry if their wives birth women instead of men, because women won't be able to become as much of a successful businessman as their son would be, right? That's what he wants, right? He wants this way more stratified, way more conservative, way more strict, this horrible culture. I mean, not horrible culture. You know what I mean, right? Like all the negative aspects of, I guess, Chinese life. He wants that in the United States because he thinks it will make him more money, which is the truth here. He doesn't actually care about children or their success. He just cares how many more people can I get who will do the work I demand them to do for less money and be happy about it and stop complaining all day, right? Okay, last two paragraphs, okay? This can be our Sputnik moment. We've awakened from slumber before because of industrialization, by the way, of work that does not necessarily require degrees before, and we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a new golden era in America, but only if our culture fully wakes up. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement over normalcy, excellence over mediocrity, nerdiness over conformity, which is such a Vivek, I want to push you in a locker right now. Hard work over laziness. Again, he doesn't want you to have time off. He wants you to work 100-hour work weeks like they want you to in Doge, right? Remember that post they made saying like we want all these recruits for Doge. Garbage. Yeah, that's what he wants. Stupid. That's the work we have cut out for us. Rather than wallowing in victimhood and just wishing or legislating alternative hiring practices into existence, I'm confident we can do it. This has 31 million views. It only has 68K likes. That is not a good ratio. That is not a good ratio. This whole spiel he's given is stupid. It's just him saying, I need everyone to act like a stupid automaton who will not ask the American education system to conform to them and not be this horribly monetized, difficult to get into field. No. You have to both deal with that, and then also when you're at work, when working for me, you will do everything I say and not complain. That's all he wants. And this whole and the issue is that this also doesn't meet what right wingers want, right? Because right wingers Literally every like graper who wants to kick out every brown person in the country, right? They're in their brains. Not only will they get all will they somehow get like high paying 150K a year or higher jobs just magically because all the brown people are out, which doesn't make any sense. They also think that when they're out, they'll have like more free time. Everything's gonna be cheaper. Everything's gonna be easier. And they see Elon over there saying, actually, we're not going to kick the brown people out. We have to keep them in because we need people who aren't lazy like you. And then you have Vivek saying, actually, things shouldn't be easier. They should be way tougher at all times. Actually, and your kids' lives should suck too. The conservatives don't like this talk, right? They don't like this. This is not the populism they signed up for that you spewed out on the campaign trail, and now they're yelling at you. And I don't know if this is gonna mean anything for Elon. I don't know if this is gonna like actually affect anything at all. It probably won't, but it would be really cool, and I mean like really, really cool if it made Elon look like if it looked like sour grapes to Trump and everyone else. Just make them look like purely undesirable morons who don't know how to speak in public. That would be awesome because they don't. They really don't. Both of these guys are stupid. Gosh. Anyways, that was the Vivek Ramaswamy fun time hour I wanted to do there. As for news, I did have one thing I want to talk about before we get into the year and the channel. The Texas GOP rep Kay Granger set back by health challenges in last month's in Congress office says. So this lady here is 81 years old, and she has problems remembering things because she's old. I assume she has Alzheimer's or whatever. The issues that earlier, like there was like a news story that broke out talking about how this lady was like missing for 6 months in Congress. And I don't think she was like missing, but she wasn't like present doing her job as a, as a member of Congress, right? And, last year she said, "Oh, I'm not going to run for re-election again," but she's like way too goddamn old. And I just wanted to mention, because this is like whatever, who cares? This doesn't matter. There's like a million people. Literally, the country's a gerontocracy. We have so many old morons in this country who are in positions of power who really shouldn't, who should just retire and just go the hell away. Just leave. Maybe we should make these jobs more difficult. A lot more moving, a lot more walking and physical stress to make them like really desire to not be there. All right, that's what I want. No more sleeping in the House of Representatives. I'm tired of that. I just wanted to mention, remember last year, 2023, when a sitting U.S. senator, right, besides president, besides a cabinet member, besides a governor of a state, a senator is one of the highest elected offices in the country, right? It is quite literally one of a exclusive 100-person club. All right. A senator from California, the richest, most populated, like economic backbone of the country, state in the country, the United States of America, the most powerful, economically powerful country in the planet, right? Of California, died in office. Dianne Feinstein, 90 years old, died in office from natural causes. Insane. Okay, absolutely crazy. No. God damn it, no. Get these people out of my government. They suck. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Get these silent generation bastards out of here. Not even baby boomers. They are too old to be baby boomers. Those guys are like 70. I'm talking about like the guys who were kids in World War II. Some of these people are older than the state of Israel, right? Or older than like World War II itself. Like it's insane. Get them the hell out. Go retire, Grandpa. It should be a law. Like once you hit like 60, you're out. Or 60, 70. 70, gone. Go away. You have money, you have investments, you have retirements. No one's gonna fuck with you. Just get out. Okay? You're not gonna change your mind on anything. You're just gonna be a big sack of meat just sitting there all day. Out. All right, that was epic fun time and a one news story. Now, I want to spend the rest of this podcast just talking about the year. We've all had. It's been an interesting one, a rough one. We finally thought, oh, we're out of COVID. The pandemic's over. Everything can go back to normal, and it didn't. Right? You have naked guys jumping out of pools and in the Bass Pro Shop, wherever the hell that was. You have a horrible presidential campaign that no one liked being part of, and that had a brief moment of like, oh, maybe the Democrats can actually run a candidate who isn't Joe Biden, and then they failed either way because they turned that candidate into somehow a worse version of Joe Biden. And then Trump became somehow politically powerful again, even though he was such a lame duck the last like 2 years of his presidency. Yeah, January 6th, which made everyone dislike him more and make him like a controversial figure, even among the right wing. And then like he spent like the last 2 years like doing nothing, like being a big hobo, and then all of a sudden, oh, actually I'm important now because of Elon and his money. We've had like a bunch of stinker games out recently. The only good stuff recently has been like indie games and a couple weird releases. Yeah, yeah, this year sucked, and it's gonna keep sucking. By the way, it's not gonna get nothing's gonna really get like better, right? You just have to get like a bit angrier and a bit more comedic with it. That's how I cope with things. I just laugh at them. I think it's funny. That's how it works, But I also want to talk about my channel. Oof, let's pull up my YouTube channel. Just look at the weird shit. So 7,500 subscribers, 54 videos. That's crazy because I've only really been making videos as content 7 months ago. Probably more like 8 because YouTube's usually like a month behind. That's crazy. That's insane. Okay, a bit of an admission of guilt. I have made videos before. I enlisted them because they weren't good and you wouldn't have enjoyed them and they didn't get any views. So, like, they even catch on, like, I'd be lucky to get like 10 people watching my ass. And it sounded like crap. No one liked it. You ain't watching it. The end. The first video officially of my channel, as is now, will be the femcell dating app video, where I found a bunch of screenshots of people of this weird like third party dating app that like only had like mentally ill women on it, and it was fantastic. I laughed so much. It was very good. Then I made a video talking about how gross certain rooms are on these cool pictures of like neckbeard nests online. I like talking about those. Then I made what I consider to be at least a fun video about who was he? He played Wesley. One moment. Will Wheaton. About Will Wheaton being very, very, very upset about Elmo making a joke. That's very cool. A really bad video where I played Call of Duty. 2 Stereo Experiments Lane music videos that are slightly different from each other because one's an English version of a song, one's Japanese version of a song, and that song, I only really know it because I watch Red Letter Media, fantastic YouTube channel, and they had one episode of their show where they had this weird Japanese VHS tape with these cult songs that were in Japanese, and they were about like computers making us no longer loving each other because of Christ or some shit, and it was actually pretty entertaining. So I made that, and the song was actually pretty good. So I made that into a video. I had the video where I talked about Slazak and Zexizi being wrong about World War II, which is okay, and then was the start. Was it the formal start? Was it the real true start of me putting stupid video game footage in the background? No, it was Elmo, but that was the start of like it being the main source in the background. I made a video of Lemmy from Lemmy Show, but it's the Paranoia Agent intro music as he points at himself at that first episode, because I wanted to make a better version of a video I saw earlier from like 10 years ago that was like that, but I made my own version that I thought was slightly better. It's pretty good. I made that video about Grums And for some reason, not only did it get the attention of Grum's fans who had, brigaded it, um, it also made Grums block me on Twitter. So that stinks. And then we had the nuclear power video, which is probably why you even know it exists in the first place. I have no earthly idea why that video blew up. People just liked the thumbnail, which I just had I only knew that thumbnail existed, that image. I know the artist, but like of like the anime girl, but like the nuclear reactor diagram being in the thought bubble, that was like part of like a GIF someone had made like probably a year or two ago that I just had saved on Discord. And I thought this is pretty funny. And I knew a lot about I knew some stuff about nuclear energy and I knew stuff about the anti-nuclear energy movement. And I said, let's make a video where I just complain about it. And it did extremely well for some insane reason. Like insanely well. I don't even know why. I don't know why. And I'm glad. I'm so thankful, but I have no goddamn clue why. So then I'm like, okay, people want energy, I'll give them energy. Boom. Video about Texas and its energy problems. Boom. Video about wood pellets and how those are just an awful form of energy too. Boom. Video about Vosh talking about solar punk ad that I had always had a bit of a grudge about because I always disagreed with that segment he made years ago when I was part of his audience. Boom. Video about Trump wanting to build cities, and that's more of like an urban development thing. But that was just like me just finding some like weird shit he said before the election. Boom. Then I was like, okay, more nuclear stuff. Talking about the nuclear industry as it stood 2 months ago. Maybe not doing too well now because of Trump, but we'll find out. Boom. I had a live stream. I had a live stream too before where I played like Hearthstone and it was awful. But I think my first good live stream was when I covered the David D's images. I laughed so hard I lost my voice. I got real tired. It was 3 hours. It was pretty good. I made it into a video. YouTube didn't like that video because they thought that my joking about vaccines, because I was very clearly joking about vaccines and in a way that was making fun of David D's and not actually agreeing with him. YouTube couldn't tell, so they're like, hey, that's bad. They're like, screw you. I made that wannabe Wow Mao video, and I guess I actually legitimately got people who were part of Wow Mao's audience to think that was me, because it also has an insane number of views in the 6 digits, which is crazy, and I'm super thankful for. Then I made a video. I made a video as a request from someone I knew online. And I just like put it on YouTube as like Trump just standing around looking like he wants to kill himself while Guts theme plays, and then like it turns black and white once like the first like chanting things goes, and it's pretty good. Then I had the presidential debate video, which only exists because at work I'm just constantly thinking about how stupid the recent presidential debates were and how these people act. So I just made like a script of like what my own stupid presidential debate would be. It was just like Kamala Harris and not Trump, because Trump is boring now. Everyone does Trump. Of like JD Vance, because JD Vance I don't like. It was very good. Then I made the end of Trumpangelion video, which was just me sort of making my own like weird video set to calm Cesar Todd from Evangelion about Trump sucking and being horrible. I thought it was pretty good. I think I got a couple actual Trump supporters watching it. And by couple, I mean like probably half the audience for that video was just Trump supporters, but that's fine. Then I had the first episode of the podcast, or the prime, not the prime, or what is it called? The pilot, where I talked about the election results afterwards, and that one got 1,000 views. But at the same time, that podcast, the Guy Panic podcast, what you listen to right now, will get less views over time. But you know what? That's fine. I'm fine with it. If a single person listens to this, I will keep making it, because as far as I'm aware, this is how I get like ideas and information out that I normally would not be spreading and saying, which is fine. Then I made a second pseudo Wow Mao video, American Politics Be Like, because I was very fed up of American politics at that time. Then I made the natural gas video after what you can consider like couple weeks of not making videos or not making consistent videos and such. the natural gas video. I killed off the little character, the little epic character, because said little epic character deserves death. I don't like him. Not one bit. I like him. Come on. So I made a new one. It's just, that little character is from an anime screen cap that I technically would not have legal rights to. So I'm not going to make him the face of the channel because that would be not good. So I made my own version of him that's legally distinct because it was made by my horrible hand on a mouse. That's why it's drawn so poorly and shittily, but I think that adds to its charm and appeal. Yep. I did another stream where I watched Crypto Land, and I thought that was pretty funny, even though it's kind of like beating a dead horse, so I put 2024 edition in it. Yeah. And then I did Energy Independence is Stupid, actually. And I guess that one's a bit of a problematic fave for some people because they did not understand my argument. But that's fine. I am insanely grateful for the audience I have, for the people who watch any of my contents, right? People follow me on Twitter and see my horrible, stupid jokes. I greatly appreciate all of you. And yeah, I just wanted to say all that and wish you a happy new year. See you next year.